Hello and welcome to this recap and review episode. This is part of the Let's Work on the Brown series. It should be episode 7, I believe, which means we've actually come quite far, considering we've only done one changing of, or one updating of random 7 emotions, which includes the default neutral, and turned them all into vectors, and then spent 2 episodes working on the random bits crier. I sound like I know what I'm talking about, don't I? Haha. So this is just a quick review of things I've learnt. Partway through some of the episodes I get confused, and I'm just going to clarify different changes I've made since making the first few episodes. So there should now be a music bed video. For those who enjoy listening to the music, you can sometimes hear at the bottom of the episodes. If you find that you can't hear it or it gets too loud, please tell me. I'll try and adjust it. I tried to keep the music quite loud, but not so overpowering that you can't hear me. Other than that, I've got a little bit of a list of items. Little. And I'll do some practical demonstrations of these bits I've learnt. So recording wise, I have noted that I'm making a lot of noise. So I've got a wheelie chair, which will just have me going around, but it used to have arms which would bang into my desk, which is wooden and has a moving drawer. I've taken the arms off, and hopefully I plan on sitting still enough that you won't pick up on sounds. I'm also going to try recording with my window more closed, because you can sometimes pick up the wind or emergency vehicles going by, or just cars in general. I'm going to try and do opening and wrap-ups not in the recordings themselves. That's personal preference, just because sometimes, like I said, I'm a little confused during the bits, during the video making. So hopefully I'll be able to properly tell you what is going on after the fact. I've tried to make the whole channel vibe go through my entire computer, so I've even changed sorry, that's for later, the background image to match, so you won't have to see my bad Skyrim, well, it's not mine, a Skyrim background if you didn't recognise it. And I've also disabled the hotkey for my computer's I'm going to say my computer's graphics card, but I can't remember what my rating is. Because I kept pressing things and you kept having this little pop-up that was getting in the way and distracting everyone. Some things I've changed for ease of viewing. I was originally going to do 1 hour videos. I'm now doing 30 minutes. I've tried to make it easier for people to see things. So I used to have the small white pointer, it's now this big red pointer, which should mean you could tell where I'm pointing on the screen much easier. It should also help if I say something and you can't quite tell where I'm pointing. Well, that's basically what I just said, isn't it? Ugh. I've also tried to increase icons and text size on various different things, including windows. These should be much bigger, as should icons on the GIMP. In terms of representation, I've actually realised that Random, the logo character, is probably more of a non-binary character, seeing as there is no technical way of genderising them. So now I'm going to try and use them, they, to when I reference Random, not via name. So I'm sorry I referred to them in the wrong way. It even says on my script. Notes. So, I have some questions for you. If you haven't already commented, or you just want to comment on this one, I just need to know if you find bits like the music too loud or quiet, if you find sped up sections too fast, as in they're a bit bitty. I do realise that the GIMP can sort of do a black and white flashy effect when I'm cutting images. I've fixed that, so that shouldn't happen. I also would like to know if you prefer straight cuts between sections, or if you want the rather than cuts where I cut out sections, if you just want me to speed through them sections or just cut them, is basically what I mean. That was very confusing. Right, so going on to some GIMP notes. In the videos, I had a big problem with using the wrong settings for what I was attempting to do. So I'm just going to quickly open the logo. So I've changed the logo since I made the videos. I've made the lines much thicker. I went for a 20 thickness line rather than the 10 thickness I did the videos in because it stands out more. It has more pop. Which I quite like. Now, the reason I've come to this one is because of several things. So, during the video I kept using the paintbrush, not the pencil, which meant that you were having, and I'll just get a new layer for this. When you use the pencil to draw stuff, you get quite solid lines. And this is how you hide them if you want to know, just go to Edit, Preferences, Toolbox, and you can just press these eyes to hide items you don't want to be shown. So I've hidden things like the paintbrush. Just bring the paintbrush back up. Did I actually unhide that? Or did I just leave without pressing OK? Toolbox. Paintbrush. Okay. If I draw with the paintbrush now, you'll see it's got a fuzz. This is to do with anti-aliasing, and because if you highlight over them it says smooth stroking. I don't want to have this fuzz when I do my drawings, it just gets in the way. So I've hidden paintbrush and a lot of other tools I don't like, increased size. That shouldn't be a problem. This is a similar problem with selecting, so... I know what was happening now. I think it's hidden my selection tools. Yeah, so if you go and you select an area, you have anti-aliasing ticked on, you draw, at the edges it'll do the fuzz. If I undo that, untick anti-aliasing, do a selection, do the draw, it doesn't do the fuzz, it does the pointing. This is where anti-aliasing is defined as smooth edges, because you can actually tell, looking at it, whether or not it's got jaggedy edges or the smooth smoother ones when you go further away. So what I've done is I've taken anti-aliasing off where I can. I've also taken off highlighting off this tool, so when I was cutting before it was doing this, although it was doing probably about 50. But it meant if I was doing things in quite quickly, or if I sped them up by 500, you were getting flashing, which I know can be a problem for some people, so I've turned highlight off. So when I cut now, it shouldn't flash. Another thing I've learned since then, so I've removed the tools, I've taken off highlight. I want to do basic shapes, not complicated shapes, because it makes it easier at the end. I've also figured out now, during the video, let's just put layer to image size, to do with the making the crier's bell, I had a slight problem with that. I was like, oh no, I can't rotate these. Still can't, but what I figured out is, and so there's a circle, if I change the aspect ratio or the angle, So the aspect ratio makes it squishier. If I change the angle, you'll see it's turning. So if I go to 45, so that's how I would have made, or should have made, the bell. And I'm pretty sure when I went back, I did remake the bell using this sort of feature. You'll see now that it doesn't have all those fuzzy lines. So that is an easier way of doing things. The reason I had to get rid of all the fuzzy lines was because when I made them into vectors, there were a load of extra... So when I made them into vectors, you should have seen that quite quickly there was a list of layers. Some of them had extra layers where it's just this teeny tiny bit of grey that had somehow snuck in. So by making sure that they're solid, that solves that problem. I believe anti-aliasing is on selections, although I don't seem to be able to take it off the rectangle. But I think that's because rectangles are straight, so they automatically, they don't have the fuzz problem, whereas circles do. Fuzz select has it. I believe paint has it as well, but paint's slightly different. So when you select and you use the paint, it'll fill the area. If you do anti-aliasing, it will let me pick a circle one again. It will sort of make the edges different if you've got another colour next to them. So I take anti-aliasing off there, I fill transparent areas, and I found if I do fill full selection, I don't have to worry too much. So if I do, if I select both of his eyes, so that's highlight and then shift highlight. So at the moment I have both of his eyes. If I do fill whole selection, and I can't because it's protected, it'll do both the eyes at the same time, which makes it much simpler. Whereas similar colours is the one where you've got to be slightly careful because it can make it so that... So I believe if I erase here on the body, then I use fill, and I put anti-aliasing on, and I pull it with black. Will it do it? It might be because I've also turned the threshold down. Oh well, doesn't matter. The point is I've turned the anti-aliasing off. So that's all the things I figured out in the game. So something I figured out while I was doing Illustrator is during the Illustrator I was saying, oh, this image is 500 by 500. I've actually got these on 200 by 200 pixels. This is 500. This is 200. I realised that I do not like the Illustrator guides. But if I use the guides, what I should do is I shouldn't try and align them up. I should, because they come up as layers, which is once again hidden for some reason. If they come up as layers, well, I think I've disabled the rulers so I can't just pull them. Will you stop moving? Well, anyway, if I put a guide in, which I still can't figure out how to do. Did that make a guide? It might be because I've not got something selected. But anyway, I can then select the guides and use the appropriate align items to get them in the middle rather than going, yeah, put it here, and that would have made it much easier to align the face. But what I realised also was when I brought them in, I deleted an area here at the bottom, which was the white zone. I shouldn't have deleted it. I should have instead, and I'll just quickly demonstrate with this one, changed the fill. That's because they're all locked. That'll be why I can't put guides on. Yeah. So delete that guide. But if I... So this is just the background. This is how Illustrator makes things. If I had just taken the white and changed the fill to this one, which just means nothing, it would have then kept the area at 200 by 200. Because what I found... I'll just go back because that's not the black it was. I found that when I transferred items over to my Premiere items, they were coming in, and then when I tried to have bits the same sort of area as wings, it didn't work because bits is slightly wider. And what I realised was if I had that white area turned see-through, I would still have the ability to see through the back. So if I go back to turning the transfer, so this area will be see-through. Well, I appear to have deleted this part of his hat, which is interesting to know. I'll have to figure out how to fill that in. I need to stop clicking my tongue as well. But if I just turned it see-through, it means that when I pull this image out as a vector, it comes as a square, and all of those squares are the same size, so they would have matched up. So, yeah. And that's basically everything that I can think of that I've learnt since then. So, as I said, we've currently done neutral random now with smooth. We've got his emotions, laugh, happy, wink. Laugh, happy, wink, surprised. Just have the document open. Wink, whoop, surprised, neutral, laugh, happy, asleep. We also made the bits random. And that's it. Upcoming on this series now, we have the players random to make, the makes random to make, the does random to make, and then some animations and other branding items. So you may have noticed that I've started using a nameplate now so that I can go straight into the action. That should be upcoming, as should one on a transition I'm making for the videos. After that, I think it'll just be a case of getting some more videos from the different channels in order to make a feature video. And that'll be all for the brand at this time, unless something big comes up or you have suggestions. Which is one of the reasons I'm doing this recap and review. It's to say what I've learnt, so that if you have made these suggestions, you know that I haven't seen your comments yet, but I have already figured it out myself. But thank you. Thank you if you tried to help, because everybody needs to help other people if they want it, of course. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching this random workings video. If you like what you saw and want some more, please hit the like button, maybe subscribe, and then check out the video or playlist shown on the left of the screen. Either way, it's bye for now, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day.